So Donald Trump last week went full fascist. He spoke about how we need a database of Muslims and how they should have special ID cards, which is only exactly like what Hitler did with the Jews and with the Star. And believe it or not, now he's gone the furthest that he's ever gone. So he retweeted a graphic that had some crime statistics. Now let me tell you what it said. USA crime statistics for 2015. Blacks killed by whites, 2%. Blacks killed by police, 1%. Whites killed by police, 3%. Whites killed by whites, 16%. Whites killed by blacks, 81%. Blacks killed by blacks, 97%. Good googly moogly. Look at what those fucking blacks, man. God damn it. Why won't you stop committing crimes, black people? Huh? This isn't a bigoted thing of me to say, but why would you stop committing crimes? Now, those numbers, needless to say, are totally made up. In fact, they're so made up that the source, the Crime Statistics Bureau in San Francisco, that isn't even real. So not only are the numbers made up themselves, the fucking Bureau is made up. Immensely made up. That's all there is to say about those numbers. Now, in reality, just to give you some examples here, the FBI shows that 82% of white homicide victims were killed by other white people. Why the fuck won't white people stop committing crimes? Goddamn white people. 82% of white homicide victims were killed by other white people. I think it's something wrong with the culture. It must be the dads missing and the rock music and Marilyn Manson and blah, 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 fill in the blank. They say 15% of white homicide victims were killed by black people, and 91% of black homicide victims were killed by other black people. So what does this show you? It shows you that, by and large, people kill those who are near them. Blacks live more around blacks, whites live more around whites, and that's why overwhelmingly more white people kill white people, more black people kill black people. Not everything is 100% equal, that's obvious, but by and large the trends are more related to who you live around. And then naturally there's 8,000 other factors that come into play here, poverty, job opportunity, values system, how you're raised, whatever. So there's a million and one things that go into it, but the real numbers show it's more people end up getting into arguments with / killing people who live near them. I know, radical. But where did Trump get his numbers from? Well, there were some people who decided to trace it back. They looked on Google, they looked elsewhere to see where that graphic came from. Because again, it was totally made up. Well, they were able to trace it back to a neo-Nazi Twitter account. That's the only other place that had released that graphic. They tweeted out that graphic. And then somebody had taken it, tweeted it at Donald Trump, say, see, the blacks got to stop committing crimes. What's wrong? What's wrong with your culture? Why just be more like white people? And then what does Donald Trump do? Retweets it. Neo-Nazi propaganda was tweeted at Trump, and he's like, totally true, retweet it. No, this is getting, it's getting, scary now. That should be, that's it. That should be it. What? Could you imagine if Bernie Sanders retweeted, never mind, neo-Nazi propaganda, over, his campaign would be over. But even if it was communist propaganda, something like over, the media would talk about it for a week and a half straight, wall-to-wall coverage, say, this is going to tank his campaign. Is this going to tank his campaign? They pose it in the form of a question, and then that leads to people to it actually tanking the campaign. But with Donald Trump, he can say anything. He fucking launched his campaign by saying, Mexicans, they're rapists, they're criminals. I assume some are good people. And he just continued. He was able to just continue. Unbelievable. He would talk about Megyn Kelly and say, maybe a certain part of her body was bleeding at the time. I mean, what the fuck, dude? And then you got stuff like this, just openly advocating for Nazi-esque policies with a database for Muslims and identifying Muslims and build a wall, kick out all the undocumented immigrants, all of them, praising something that was called Operation Wetback. Back in the day when they did kick out a lot of undocumented immigrants and people died. And then now we got this, neo-Nazi stats. He can't. Guys, we gotta, somebody please stop him. He's leading. He's this unstoppable force because, you know what it is? People are so tired of the establishment politicians. They're so tired of the fake, cheesy, sleazy politician way of talking that the anti-establishment people, even though he's a billionaire, but the way he talks anti-establishment, that's why they're doing well. That's why he's doing well. And the thought of a guy who falls for neo-Nazi propaganda possibly becoming president of the United States of America is fucking horrifying, because he would have his hand on that nuclear red button, okay, and he would have control of the most powerful military the world has ever known. I can't trust him with that.